Hey, the truth about marketing. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys are just getting started. Some of you guys are, some of you guys aren't. But I want to tell you the truth about marketing and exactly what goes into it. What can you look forward to? Before you start that marketing campaign, what do you have to look forward to, right? When we're talking about getting responses, not getting responses, whatever the case may be. So when we're talking about marketing, there's two ways that we can kind of think about this, right? You got money or time. Money versus time, right? And I know you guys are thinking money versus time. Where am I going with this? You got to think about it and what you have to offer to the people right now in your current situation. A lot of you guys may have a 9 to 5. Some of you guys probably lost your job and looking for something to do right now. You got 8 to 10 hours to work, right? So when we talk about money, this is a person that has a job, work, make pretty darn good money, looking to get their first investment property, right? So in this particular sense, this person has the money, they don't necessarily have the time to go invest in real estate. So from a marketing perspective, they're going to be looking at PPC, SEO. PPC is pay per click, that's Google Ads. If you guys don't know, Google Ads. SEO is more organic built. Same thing. Both of them are still a search engine from Google. You go to Google, you pay Google to get on there. SEO is built over a time period. So this one right here may take 2 years in a competitive market, 1 year in a secondary market, maybe a smaller market around 250,000 people, right? But in a $1 million market, it's probably gonna take about 2 years to get on that first page of Google. If you want some now money, right? PPC is where you're gonna be looking for a lead. Now, the one thing I can definitely tell you about this and any kind of money marketing strategies is they are all active leads. I know you guys thinking, what are active leads? What is an active lead? An active lead is a lead that's ready to do business right now, right? So when I talk about this, let's just dive deep. How many times have you Googled food near me and ate? 1 hour, 2 hours, or right now, right? That's the exact same lead that we have here. Somebody that's looking to say, sell my house fast, they're looking to do business with you right now. So it's gonna be very hard for you to spend money on this particular PPC or SEO and not get your return back, right? It's gonna be very hard. You're gonna generate leads consistently because people are always Googling, sell my house fast, sell this house now, avoid foreclosure. Those are terms that people typically look to sell. Another money making or another money form of marketing, you got Facebook ads, which is still relatively cheap. And who's on Facebook? All our clientele, right? Our class within 60 or younger, single women, right? They're probably all over here. People that's inheriting homes, they're probably on Facebook, right? That younger crowd that's inheriting homes, that lady that's behind on a mortgage, she's inheriting homes. There's a lot of people that's inheriting property. So this is a great opportunity to take a look at PPC, SEO, Facebook. Now we got mailers. I know a lot of people don't like mailers right now because they're so expensive. There's so many other ways to go out there. Mailers still work. I'll be honest with you, mailers still work. You just gotta mail to somebody 6 times. You gotta be willing to stay in the fire. That's the only knock as far as mailers. It may take 6 months for you to actually get a deal. Now, can you get a deal on your first time from mailers? Absolutely you can. But it may take a little bit longer than what you anticipate, and that might put you in a rut, which is not a really good thing. But essentially, they still work. Mailers is still something you can do that's automated, that you can pay somebody to do it. They do all the work for you. All you got to do is field the call. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook is probably, you can have a call to action, whether they go to the website or they field the call, however you want to do it. But these are forms of marketing that you're going to spend a lot of money on. Not a lot of people are going to do it. PPC is very, very competitive. SEO, all that's very, very competitive. SEO really don't cost a lot of money, but it is a form. It is a form of marketing. It's very organic and something that you just want on your team, right? But SEO, every day the internet gets more and more important. So if you're building a business and you don't have a website, it's probably something you need to think about investing in right now before we get started. Now, we talk about time-intensive marketing strategies. This right here, door knocking. Right, that's a time investment. That's a time, very, very time intensive strategy. Now we got cold calling. Very time intensive strategy. Text message. RVMs. What else we got that's very time intensive? I'll probably think about some more, but these are very, very time intensive. I would say, nah, email's not really time intensive. A lot of these can be outsourced, just like anything on here can be outsourced, but essentially these are time intensive. So if you're just getting started, this is something that you're gonna have to look at from a marketing standpoint. Money versus time. That's very, very big scenario on what you gotta look for to be able to close your first deal. If you got money and don't have time, go ahead and spend some money. The only knock with money is people always want to start with a very, very low cost, right? Whereas a seasoned investor such as myself, when we talk about PPC, 5K, right? Automatic, just spend the 5K. We know we're going to get it back. We know that's going to generate enough traffic to bring us another deal. Even if it only generates 10,000, we doubled our money. Even if it only generates 7,500, we just got all our money back plus 2,500, right? Regardless what the case is, it's going to bring us some more money back. And essentially that's what you want in your particular business. Okay, so we talked about the money aspect of marketing. We talked about the time aspect of marketing. Now I want you to look at how long is it going to take me to close one of these particular deals, right? So when we talk about money being spent, there's two types of leads. That's what I want to break down. Two types of leads. There's a passive lead, right? And there's an active lead. This is going to be something that you're going to have to look at when you're talking about your marketing, because a passive lead is more of somebody that maybe it was a cold call, right? Maybe it was more time intensive text message, RVM. Sometimes you get text messages very active, but a passive lead is meaning that they're not necessarily ready to do business today. An active lead, they got their wallet in hand, right? And I know I say that this is real estate, they're not going to have a wallet in hand, but these active leads, they're ready to do the deal today, if at all possible, right? If you guys can work out all the logistics with dealing with a house, because let's face it, the numbers, the money is always the easiest portion, but can we evict the tenant, right? Can we close by the pre-foreclosure date? Did they give us enough time to do that? Can we give them a 60-day lease back, right? They ask for all kind of crazy things. But this is what you're going to be looking at, right? So I want to set the expectations, because some of you guys are looking for money-making activity right now. We got to look at some of these types of forms of marketing and figure out which one is going to close for us right now. Which lead are we going to be dealing with that's ready to do business right now? So when we talk about active, I will put door knocking here, right? That's a time-intensive but very active lead. You get that when you know they need to close by the beginning of the month. So if anybody right now looking at this video and you trying to get a deal by the beginning of the month, if you're in Texas, now I don't know everybody's foreclosure laws, but if you're in Texas, I know Texas auctions are always the second Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, right? So knowing what I know, if you want a deal to close within the first week of November, right, you probably need to be door knocking if you don't have a lot of money, because that's the quickest way to get your next deal, because you're going to be dealing with an active lead that needs to sell within the next 14 days, right? So I would say door knocking up here. Another active PPC, Facebook, obviously SEO, that's Google search, anything got anything to do with Google, typically vanity signs. That's one I forgot to put over there on the timestamp. But these are all active leads. And I will say sometimes you come across in other forms of marketing like cold calling, RVM, text message. Sometimes I would say text is probably the quickest one. It just depends on what list you're doing, right? When you're talking about some of those passive way of leads. But this right here, right? Another way, passive. What's passive? Cold calling. Let's face it. You call somebody out the blue, they're not ready to do business today. 9 times out of 10. You do it enough, you will find a couple of people that you can follow with, that you can end up closing within a week, get them an offer, everything looks right, you can end up closing that deal. So sometimes you can do it that way, but 9 times out of 10, cold calling is going to be a more passive approach where you're actually looking to follow up with these particular leads, right? It's a cheap form of marketing, but you got to follow up. RBM, text message, exact same way. I don't care if it ends up over here as well. 9 times out of 10, the lead that you have with text message is going to come from a standpoint of being more passive. You got to follow up, right? So if you're looking at cold calling, RBM, text, you probably want to look at some different CRMs, which is a customer relationship. I don't know if you guys can see it. A CRM, which is a customer relationship manager. All that's going to do is going to allow you to follow up with your leads, keep notes on the conversations, save birthdays, remember the pet name, whatever you can to build rapport. Make sure you add that into your computer screen. If you're not good at it, have somebody do it for me. I know I just dropped a cold calling video where you saw me at the end of the video. I don't know if you did or not, but I was sitting there talking to my VA and having her update that for me to make things easier for me. But essentially CRM, you just got to keep up with your particular leads. So at the end of the month, if you do it 8 hours a day and you're pretty dang good at it, you should be able to generate probably over 100 leads. 100 leads just from doing that. Typically I can generate that probably in part-time work, generate 100 leads. Me, because I'm pretty decent at it. I know how to match them here, all that good stuff. Save that for another time. But anyways, that's what you got to look at, right? So when we talk about marketing, which one is the better source for you? Because as a time investor, right, if you're working a full-time job and you're cold calling, right, and even if you have VAs, even if you have it outsourced, what's the next step? I just said follow up. The next step is follow up. So if you're a full-time job worker, you know you're not gonna have time to make the cold calls. But will you have time to follow up? That's a question you gotta answer when we're talking about marketing, because ultimately, if you don't have the time to follow up, this right here really don't work for you. This right here really don't work for you. This right here really don't work for you, right? If you don't really have the discipline, the time, put the effort in to do this, the follow-up portion, none of these passive ways of marketing is gonna work for you. So essentially what you're gonna be looking for, you might wanna do some door knocking. You might wanna spend some money on PPC, Facebook ad spends. Typically with Facebook videos typically work a little bit better. SEO, bandit signs, text. Now bandit signs is time intensive, so that's one thing you gotta watch out for. Some text messages are a little bit easier because it can be worked through the phone or through the internet. So you can literally be at your job while sending text message, however it is. I'm not saying get in trouble and be at your job and do that, but ultimately what I am saying is that's something that you gotta look for when you're talking about the marketing standpoint. So obviously we got time versus money, and then we got passive versus active leads, right? And again, I'm gonna reiterate it, active leads is basically where they're ready to do business right now. If you Google sell my house fast, you're not looking to wait 6 months to sell your house. No, sell your house fast means you want somebody to buy it immediately right now and get rid of the headache. I'm done with it, right? That's what you're looking for. If somebody calls you, however, you're looking for something totally different. Now, obviously some of these things look a little bit different, but just understand where you are. If you're somebody with time and no money, right? You got to figure out which marketing stream comes right here. And from looking at this and looking at the other one, right, it's probably going to be door knocking and text message, right? Because you can get some active leads. You can probably do some cold calling as well in the morning time. Then in the evening, you go to do the door knocking. If you're a full-time real estate investor, if that's what you're looking to do. But I wouldn't advise you to be full-time if you have no money. Makes no sense, because marketing dollars are needed. All the things that come with the business, you need money to run this business. And if you're not cash flowing, you're in trouble, absolutely. Hey, so if you like that information, make sure you hit that thumbs up, turn it blue for me. And if you're looking forward to some more information about building your real estate business, whether it's wholesale, fix and flip, whatever the case may be, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I love to have you as a new sub, and make sure you cut on that notification bell so you'll get all the gems whenever we drop them out, so that you can be more successful. If you got any comments, concerns, questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll respond to them personally. I'd love to reach out to you and see how we can help. And if you got some more video content that you want me to drop, make sure you drop below so we can answer it, or we can address that, make another video for another time. Hey, with that being said, you already know, keep winning.